Spirit, have I gotten Yuri's for Yuri? Oh my god. So, Disney have literally called my movie, the one they stole from me, the Satan clauses. And my movie's called the Dear Satan clause. At first it was called Dear Satan clause. So yeah, so now I've been having to, I have to decide how I'm going to deal with it. I'm a little lammy. I hashtagged them in. I was following them on my Instagram at some point. I have made no bones about the fact that God is letting me take Disney over. I'm allowed to, when He tears Disney down, and when He tears Hollywood down over the Epstein trafficking, all of that sort of thing. When God tears it all down, I get the new version. I've made that public all over social media for a good couple of years now. I've made no bones of that. I have hashtagged them in on things, and like I said, at one point, I was even following them on my The Art of Creation. What's it called? My Instagram, my other little Instagram, where I was like advertising all my ideas and stuff like that. I'll have to try and find out to prove that I was hashtagging them in and stuff like that. But I've made no bones on X that God has said, when I tear Hollywood and Disney down and rebuild the new world, you're gonna, wherever you build, your foundation, that's going to become like the start of the new Hollywood and the new Disney. That's all over my social media. And they've been watching me, and they've stolen one of my movies. I find it ironic that Disney, Paramount, whoever, both of them, stole my idea, and it's an idea that was written to teach people, to teach children as well, why you shouldn't sin, why your Satan's never going to have a problem with you as long as you don't sin. And greed and theft and all of that is a sin, right? Copyright infringements and all of that, they completely stole it, and then advertised it in big sparkly lights, so it would drop on my lap. So I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I'm a little lamb. I've got a list of like lawyers that I can go to and hope that they do this for me pro bono, well, not pro bono, but do this for me, represent me, and then take the fee when we win, because it's clearly, obviously, they've stolen it. But it was written to help raise money to fund safe houses for the victims of human trafficking and child abuse and child neglect and all of that. And Disney, of all places, stole a movie from a servant of God about why you must never do anything so stupid as you call on Satan himself. So I'm sitting here thinking, like, what's going on? Do I go as the little lamb of the Lord to a lawyer and say, can you please help me sue Disney and Paramount? And take your fee afterwards because I'm poor. Or do I wait until I win my lawsuits against everybody else and then get myself the best lawyer money can buy? And I'm sitting here thinking, like, what do I do? What do I do? And then there he was in all his glory, Lord God of universal justice, Satan himself. And he said, I've taken care of it for you. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he said, they stole your movie. that was created to save victims of human trafficking, to save children that are being sacrificed in my name, and it's got nothing to do with me. And they've stolen that movie, and it's to make sure that when the shit hits the fan and people start saying, which is starting to happen, oh my God, Disney are promoting Satanism, oh my God, Disney are teaching kids to love Satan, blah, 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 that's when I come in with my lawyer and say, actually, it's my movie, and they changed it. And what it is actually about is, ironically, why you don't ever want to commit a sin so great is that you call on Satan himself. So they've proven my movie right, because what's going to come for Disney now is that everybody who's a Christian, everybody who is a conspiracy theorist, everybody who is against Trump and the whole Epstein thing, are all now going to be focused on Disney. And God said, I'm going to tear Disney down, I'm going to tear Hollywood down, and in the new world, you get to build the new one. So they've walked right into God and Satan's trap to get them out the way, so that when the real version comes to light, people will go, oh my God, God and Satan have just worked together to prove that Satan does not have a problem with you as long as you don't commit a sin against the pure and innocent. And I'm God's lamb. You can't get more pure and innocent than God's lamb. So Disney have screwed up so hard, they have now just brought about their own downfall in the name of Satan, to prove that God himself is real. How beautiful is that? And that's why I put my stuff out there, because it's to catch them. We catch them. And then Satan comes up and takes them down. They're already having to deal with the whole Epstein human trafficking thing anyway. They walked right into the trap. They walked right into it. They stole a movie that is to fund saving children from human trafficking, while they themselves are under investigation for human trafficking. That's God and Satan working together. Do you see how karma works? Do you see how this works? Satan isn't the bad guy. He goes after the bad guy. He does not want to be worshipped. He wants to be respected, and rightly so, because Satan is the one who writes the laws of the universe. God promotes them. The 10 Commandments, for example, Satan wrote those commandments and handed them to God and said, tell people this is what you don't do if you want to avoid meeting me. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbour's goods. Theft. What is one of the 7 deadly sins? Sloth. They were lazy. They couldn't even come up with their own thing, so they stole mine. And greed. And avarice, is it? Envy? So they've proven my point. They've proven my whole hypothesis on the evolution of humankind and the balance of consciousness and the universal laws of karma, and how there is a Satan side. And Satan is God's anger. Satan comes out when you've pissed God off. You only meet Satan when you've done something to piss God off. and they've just put Disney under the spotlight. And now I'll get to come along and explain it all to people, and then because then people go, oh my God, I get it now. So if I do this, it's like it's teaching you the curse of karmic consequences. What you decide is gonna stitch into the fabric of your timeline what happens next. And you have to get it just right. In order to keep Satan away, you have to keep God happy. And they've pissed God off. So Satan's come up in the form of that really bad movie. And now people are looking at Disney going, oh my God. So they've just pretty much assured their own downfall. Within the next 12 to 18 months, I think Disney aren't going to exist anymore. They're going to end up like being under investigation for all sorts of things. And then when I come along and say, well, actually, they stole it from me, and what this movie is actually about is blah, blah, blah. And look, here's my video talking about it. Look, I've just proved my whole science is real. Disney just helped me prove quantum magnetics is real, and why you need to have perfect balance when you want to make your dreams come true. God doesn't have a problem with you being rich. If you want to be a trillionaire, mazel tov, go off and be a trillionaire. All he cares about is how you make your money, where you get your money from, and what you do with it when you've got it. If you make your money in an ethical way, he's going to let you make as much money as you want. Won't even have, like, you'll invest in things that will just be so bountiful and so fruitful for generations to come that you could be like worth trillions if you made everything the right way and did all the right things with it when you had it. That's what I'm doing. That's why I know I'm going to end up with generational wealth, because I've made sure that how I make my money and what I do with it once I get it, it's all done the right way, ethically, morally, because I know the balance of the curse of karmic consequences, utu, in Māori we call it. You have to keep everything balanced, because it's your ancestors and your descendants and that end up paying the price of all the things that you get wrong. So when you curse someone with a utu, when someone's been cursed with a utu, it's like you're going to keep suffering losses, and everyone around you is going to keep suffering losses until you learn from your mistakes. And Disney haven't been learning from their mistakes, and now they're learning the curse of karmic consequences. And that's basically like when you piss your gods and ancestors off, that's when the gods of the underworld, Pharaoh, come up and seek revenge. So Disney had to go first. If I had have gone first, everyone at this moment in time when everyone's still hyper-vigilant and stressed out and on the defence and stuff like that, if I had have produced my movie first, it would have been me that got all the negative attention, because people are looking at someone to bite at, to explain to them what the hell is going on. So they're attacking and going after anything related to religion and faith and that, because they're terrified, and they're turning and biting and snapping like dogs that have been pushed into a corner. And if the dear Satan clause that I was making had have gone first, it would have been me that suffered. It would have been me that they tore apart. But I'm pure and I'm innocent, so they stepped me aside and said, no, Disney, please, steal the movie, go on, you go first. We'll let you go first. And then I come along and say, well, actually, with my lawyers, they stole it from me, and then I get the publicity, and then I get to explain it all, and then people look at my side of the story and go, oh, okay, so like we don't need to be afraid of Satan, and it's okay to recognize that Satan's there, but it's because God is trying to say this Disney are the reason why, the Epsteiners, the coalition of Epsteiners, the EU, Zelensky, Starmer, Trump, all of it, Musk, they're the reason why you don't ever want to meet Satan. If you don't want to meet Satan, don't be like these people. Don't engage with these people. Just don't be like them. That's all it is. That's all it is. Why do people need to be afraid of Satan when all he's there for is to say, don't don't be assholes, don't be evil, don't sin, and then you never have to worry about me. Just focus on God and let God light your path and lead the way and show you all the good things are coming in the Garden of Eden if you just follow my rules. That's all you got to do. Just follow the commandments, follow my rules, follow God, and you never even have to worry about what's on the dark side. You let the dark side deal with the people who belong there, and you just focus on God. That's Satan. But how Disney have done it, how it's been portrayed, has been done at a time when people are terrified and then they're needing to attack something, and God and Satan couldn't let that be me, because apparently I've been through enough. And that's why I love being an occult physicist. I get to teach people this sort of stuff. Now, the people that are going through the rapture, the ones that are starting to wake up and finally see the truth of everything around them, they're going to listen to what I've had to say and go, oh my God. Satan and God are the religious personification of karmic balance. They are not physical beings, they are a form of conscious retribution and distribution system based on the choices that you make during your evolutionary process. They're a psychological construct, a conscious construct. And when your awareness of Satan is correct and balanced, your path to spiritual enlightenment takes off like a rocket. Because when you go through an ascension, when you're rising up from the underworld, and you're ascending when you're going through your rapture, your conscious awakening, it's basically you getting as far away from hell as possible, because you got a taste of it in the underworld. And I keep saying, when you go through an ascension, you never, ever, ever want to go back to the underworld. You've experienced hell on earth, and you never, ever want to go through that experience again. So you do everything you can to make sure you avoid it. That is the psychological, conscious concept of Satan and God. Religion, or the Bible, gives the concept a physical representation because it's a book, not a movie, and they had to be able to explain it to you in a language they could speak in the hopes that everybody else would understand it. So it's like the Bible is like a book of stories and philosophies on the concept of conscious balance. So basically the people at Disney, whoever it was, that the person that sold them the story, or that said, yep, we're going to make that, the one who saw my stuff and said, yep, we're taking it, it's all going to come on them. They're about to pay. Disney are about to be held responsible for the decision of that one person who decided to steal the story that I wrote to protect children from the devil. And the devil isn't Satan. The devil is the devil. There are many devils, they go by many names. There are many angels, they go by many names. There are many archangels, there are many demons, they all go by many names, but there's only one God and there's only one Satan. And even in the Bible, God recognizes the devil and Satan many times as two separate entities, but they're being portrayed wrong. You need to stop looking at Satan and God as visual representations, like with the horns and the red and the fangs and the blah, blah, blah. That was their way of trying to convey why this was something you needed to fear at a time when movies and TVs and video games and that hadn't been invented yet. So they had to get into the imagination of the worshipper to get their point across. And that's why God was white and gold and in the clouds and blue skies and that, because the difference between heaven and hell is like oil and water. Like, you can clearly see the difference between the two. And it was the Bible and like ancient scripture and all of that that had to get that point across. But what they're really trying to say, because when you're talking about religion, when you're talking about theology, you're talking about your faith and everything that matters to you, which is a psychological construct based on the conscious connection of the awareness that there is a light and a dark in this universe. But religion calls it Satan and God, but we would call it subconscious and conscious. Having subconscious and conscious awareness that there is a light and a dark. The subconscious mind rules logic, doubt, reason, compromise, instinct, that sort of thing. That's the subconscious mind. The conscious mind represents faith and the supernatural and the afterlife and God and empathy and intuition and evolution and the atomic consciousness. The atomic consciousness, the creator of the universe. Whereas the subconscious mind also rules things like grief and death, because death is a psychological construct, because we don't technically die. It's only our organic form that dies, but our organic form is only like our mech suit. Our souls are here to learn lessons, and we have to take on a physical form to learn that lesson. Once those lessons have been learned or not, once we've been called back home, so to speak, once it's time to go, it's only our body that dies, but then we come back again just in different forms until we finish learning our lessons. Once we learn all our lessons, then we get to become like angels and archangels, basically, which basically means we get to come back as like higher ascended minded beings. So you come back as gurus and masters and messiahs and prophets and all of that on a level where it's done with respect, where the people actually get the respect and the reverence, because there's that conscious awareness already that these people are here and they're ascended beings, they're higher beings, and they're here to help us. All of that is the representation of God. But if you don't do that, if you hurt and maim and steal and cheat and rape and kill and slaughter and war and bomb and greed and steal and, EU and NATO and Trump and Starmer and Musk and the billionaires and the oligarchs and the blah, 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 and the war against Russia, and all, if that's who you are, that's Satan. That's when you're dealing in the realms of Satan. So one's dharma, one's karma. And what you do next decides which one you get. But it is possible to have perfect balance between the two. where you can get away with things like me. I'm an arsehole. I get away with being an arsehole because it's done with a pure heart. Because my arseholery comes from the fact that I'm brutally honest. Because when you stand in God's light, you can only speak the truth. Because I know what happens if you get the karma, and I don't want the karma. I don't want to die having made God unhappy. I don't ever want to make God angry because I don't ever want to meet Satan. Disney have just met Satan. I'm telling you now, they pissed God off. So they've called on God's wrath, and that's Satan. Because the one thing, well, there's two things that Satan hates more than anything in the world. And that's when, like, something pure and innocent, like an animal, a child, a frail old person, a pregnant person, someone who's genuinely pure and innocent, someone who didn't ask for it, is hurt or, killed or anything. When a sin is committed against a pure and innocent, and when someone hurts God's heart, they're the two things that will absolutely guarantee that you'll meet Satan. And they stole from the pure and innocent, but they stole from God, which hurt God's heart. So now they're meeting Satan. But they had to go first. Because if I had gone first, all of that negative attention would be coming on me, and I'm pure and innocent. So they pushed me out the way. They moved me out of the way. You just step back, little girl, little daughter. Let us take care of this. So thanks, Disney, and I'll see you in court. And then I'll have the money to actually make the movie, and then people will get it, because I'll be bringing it out at Halloween first. Because of the way I wrote it, by the time Christmas comes about, I'm telling you now, parents, between Halloween and Christmas, when the Dear Satan Claus comes out on my streaming service, the movie, you will have the best behaved kids on the planet. They will not put a foot wrong. I'm telling you now, because of how I've written it. What Disney have done, they've made it cheap and nasty and dirty and horrible. Like they've turned it into something blah, So let them get all the negative attention, because then when I come out, it's going to be like parents are going to see their kids change overnight. They'll watch that movie, and then all of a sudden the beds will be made, the homework will be done, they'll be politer, they'll be nicer to their siblings, that sort of thing, because they'll want to make sure that they don't make God unhappy, because of how I've written it. Yeah. So, and then if they, you might see a lot of kids accidentally write to Satan. I'm hoping if I get to make a part two, because of how I've written the possibility of a part two, and then they get Santa and Satan, because they become like a tag team. But Satan deals with the ones that gets the lumps of coal, sort of thing. But it's not like, it's not lumps of coal. It's tied into the first one, but I'm not going to say too much because Disney have already stolen enough. But yeah, thanks for taking all the negative attention first, and then I can come in and explain it all to people in a way where they're finally going to get it, because I'll use psychology and logic, and also religion and theology and evolutionary theorism and physics and that as well. So I can explain it in a way that everybody on every level will get it. That it's just a story, just like the Bible turned into moving pictures, but it's just talking about the psychological construct of why you don't want to sin and mess with God. That's all. That's all it is. So you don't need to make a big deal out of it. And when you understand it that way, suddenly your life gets easier. Suddenly bad things don't start happening all the time. Suddenly you're not having runs of bad luck anymore, because you're finally getting it. And then life gets easier. And then you start getting good news, and good things start happening, and suddenly all the things that you're wanting, you're starting to get, because you're finally getting it. And that's all it is. That's all God and Satan is. You're finally getting it. Just don't be a dick. Pay off your karmic debt. Make better choices in life. And all the darkness falls away. And making better choices in life isn't just about, getting your mind right. It's also like cleansing your body, healing your mind, getting away from toxic relationships, getting away from the stuff that you know is bringing you down, sugar, video game addictions, that sort of thing. Like, get out and let your bare feet touch the grass and stuff. When you start to ascend, that's what starts happening anyway, because you start getting drawn to the light, because the blinders come off, and suddenly it's like you see the light, and then you become more creative as well, and then you find peace, and then you find balance. You might you might have periods of bad things happening, and things, like where you're unhappy because like life isn't perfect and shit's going to happen. But you get to a point where you find the lesson in it all, and it makes you understand things better, and it helps you move on faster. So you learn to let go of it faster when things happen. And that's all part of the ascension process. And that's you getting away from all the things that have been trying to drag you down. And the stuff trying to drag you down to stop you from chasing the light, that's the Satan concept. But all the stuff that is pulling you to the light of, I need to shed this armor, I need to shed my clothes, I need to just like run free and let my freak flag fly, and just admit that I want to be a writer, that I want to be an artist, that I want to be a singer, that I want to be a this, that I want to be a humanitarian, that I want to build an art school, that I want to be philanthropic, I want to be this. I don't want to be that anymore. I just want to be me. That's God. That's the God concept. The creation frequency is you having all these new ideas and concepts of where your life could be going if you just keep chasing the light. But in order to survive going through that tunnel of light, you have to shed everything that isn't pure, that isn't coming from a pure place. That's the God concept. You have to let go of the Satan concept in order to embrace the God concept. That's all that is. But Disney have turned that into something now where people are going, hang on, wait a minute, what? What have you just spent money trying to teach our kids? So Disney have gone first. They'll take the flag. I can come in behind and explain it all in a way that everybody's going to get it, whether you believe in God or not. Everyone's going to get it, and then you're going to have better behaved kids when I play it at Halloween right through to Christmas. So it's a win-win for everyone, and then I get to take the money and put that into the houses where we want to rescue the kids from the human trafficking gangs and the grooming gangs. They'll have somewhere to go until we can get them back to their homes or whatever. So yeah, Disney had to go first, because otherwise all the stuff that's about to come on them would have been coming on me. But I get to come in behind and fix it all for everyone and calm it all down. So thanks, Disney. I'll see you in court. Mwah.